Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial I will show you how to make the Wrap Me in Love sweater or dress. I used for the dress this yarn from Katia, which is called Concept Sky. The recommended crochet hook is 4.5 millimeter or G+, and it's not really thick, so it's not a medium weight yarn, but because it's fluffy, it's the recommended needle it's bigger. And for the sweater version I used the mercerized cotton from Schepje Cartona. The recommended needle is 3.5 millimeter, the maximum, but I use the same crochet hook as for the dress. In this tutorial I will show you size small, and we will work the sweater together, but I will explain how to extend the top part into a dress. But first of all, let's talk about the shape of the top part. It will be two pieces worked in the same way, identical pieces, and we will start from the cuff. So the cuff is worked in a single crochet in the back loop only, and then we will start working the sleeve and the body. Both front and back panel are worked together. And now if you want to adjust this pattern to your yarn or to your own gauge measurements, I started with the cuff with 15 stitches, which is about 7 centimeters, and the length of the cuff in my case was 24 centimeters, while my upper arm is 26. So make sure that the length of your cuff is somewhere with 2 centimeters or 1 inch smaller than your upper arm. Then we are working the sleeve portion, the sleeve part, and the sleeve with the cuff has to be somewhere around 40% of your sleeve length, measured from the armpit to the cuff. And then with the trunk or the body or torso, you have to measure the bigger part of your body, being the waist or the bust, and this has to be the width of your trunk section. And the trunk section is divided in two because we will have to increase for the second part, for the half of the trunk, because the corner when assembling the top part has to reach the opposite side. So in order to reach this shape and to have the bottom to be straight, we need to increase a bit for the other half, and you'll have to split the torso, the body, in two. Work half without increasing, and then you will start increasing to have those corners a bit longer, to make sure that it will reach when assembling and your bottom will be straight. The increase pattern I will show you right away, and we will work together the sweater, and you will be able to see everything to help you work this sweater in your sizes. Also, you can find on my website, and I will let the link into the description below, you'll find explanation about how this sweater is constructed and how to adjust this to your own yarn, hook size, tension, and size. And of course you can find written instruction for sizes up to 5 extra large in all my shops. I can let the links in the description below. So this is the main part, a piece, and you'll have to work two pieces in the same way, and then we'll assemble and we will get that beautiful shape of this sweater. So I wanted to have this break into our tutorial just to explain you the construction and to be easier for you to adjust this sweater and tutorial on your own measurement, sizes, tension, and everything. So let's get started. As I said, we will start from the cuff, and the cuff is worked in single crochet in the back loop only. And you'll have to start with a chain that is the width of your cuff. So I will chain 16. My cuff will have 15 stitches. And for the first row, starting with the second stitch, we will start to single crochet into each stitch. We will have in the end 15 single crochet. Now we will chain 1 and turn. Into the first stitch, work the single crochet through both loops, and then starting with the second stitch, make 1 single crochet into the back loop only. And when you'll get to the last stitch, you'll do it again through both stitches. So the first and the last stitch won't be worked just in the back loop only, but into the both loops to have a nice and neat edge. And you'll have to repeat this row number 2 until you'll get to the desired length of the cuff. I work in total 39 rows, and pay attention to have an uneven number or an odd number of stitches, of rows, sorry. Now that I finished the 39 rows, I will just get high with 2 stitches, and we will start to work perpendicular on these rows, and basically we're starting with our sleeve. And now half double crochet into each side row. The chain 2 at the beginning is not counting as a first stitch, so you will have to make the first half double crochet into the exactly first stitch. And at the end of this row, you will need to have the same number of stitches as the number of rows that you worked for the cuff. So I will have 39 stitches. I will slow down a bit, so just work 1 half double crochet into each side row that you have. Okay, so I finished this row. This was the first row of our sleeve, And starting with the second row, we will start to increase at the beginning and at the end of the row. So I started with chain 2, and now into the first stitch we will work 2 half double crochet, and then we will continue with 1 half double crochet into each stitch, and into the last one we will increase again and work 2 half double crochet. Okay, so this is the last stitch, and we will do an increase again, and now we will turn and we will work the mesh stitch now, or windows, or however it's called. You will have to start with an increase also, so work 2 half double crochet into the first stitch and then chain 1, skip the next stitch and work 1 half double crochet into the next one, and we will continue like so until we will get to the last stitch, and into the last stitch we will have to make another increase, because this is how the sleeves work. We will have to increase on every row at the beginning and at the end of the row. Okay, so this is my last stitch. I will chain 1 and I will close to finish the row with 2 half double crochet into the last stitch. And now we will have to repeat these 2 rows. I will work in total for the sleeve 11 rows, counting the first row in the half double crochet as well. Now the next one will start again with an increase, and then you will have to make 1 half double crochet into each stitch. But to be easier, you can just make 2 half double crochet into each one chain space, and you will get with the same number of stitches as if you will work them into each stitch. So I was telling that I work in total 11 rows for this sleeve, and as I said at the beginning, the sleeve portion, the sleeve piece, these rows that we are working now, plus the cuff, has to be somewhere less than half of your sleeve length, because when we are assembling, the sleeves will fall and we will take a bit of the trunk length, so no worries, it won't be too short. And we will repeat these rows until we get to the desired length, or as I said, I will work 11 rows in total, and then we will see how to finish the next. If you're choosing to work more rows, make sure that your last row is a window stitch row. Okay, so I have a few more stitches of my last row of the sleeve. You have to finish this row with an increase as well. And at the end of this row, we will add the stitches to complete the length of our sweater or dress. For the sweater, I worked more stitches. I added more stitches than for the dress. You could simply measure the portion that you have now and then the desired length and add the number of stitches that you need. I added in total 40 stitches for the sweater length and 30 stitches for the dress length, because on the dress I just wanted to have the top part exactly on my waistline and then to add the skirt. So that's why I just chain less stitches than for the sweater. And to add those stitches, you will just have to chain the at the end of this row, at the end of row 11, I will chain 40, and if you are making the dress, you will chain 30, or the needed number of stitches to get to the desired length, your waist length, or a bit lower. So in total, because I need to add 40 stitches, I will just chain 41, then 2 stitches more, and then starting with the third stitch, half double crochet into each stitch to the end of the row. And at the end of this row, we will add the stitches on the other side. Okay, let's continue to the last stitch, and then I will show you how to add the stitches at the end of the row. Okay, so we will need to have the same high, so this row to be almost the same as the chain plus the half double crochet that we have on the other side. And to reach that, we will do foundation half double crochet. So first yarn over and then insert the hook into the side stitch of your last stitch, then yarn over and pull it through the first loop and then through all 3 loops. And now insert the hook into the bottom of the stitch of the previous stitch. You will see that you'll have a V there, and then yarn over. So let's do it again. So insert the hook, yarn over, pull out a loop, yarn over, pull it through the first, yarn over, pull it through all 3 loops that you have on the hook. And we will repeat like so until we will have the same number of stitches as on the other side. And I was telling that we will have 40 stitches for the sweater length and 30 stitches for the dress length. Let's do one more. So yarn over, insert the hook into the bottom V of the stitch, yarn over, pull out the loop, yarn over, pull it through first loop, and yarn over and pull it through all 3 loops. And this is how we are adding the stitches on the other side, and as you can see, it's looking pretty similar. So we will have the same number of rows on both sides, front on or back panel. Now after we did the foundation half double crochet, we are continuing with our stitch pattern. Now it will be the mesh stitch pattern that we will have to work, and we will do in total I think 23 stitches, 23 rows, yes, because we will have in total, I have in total for the width of the body 47 rows, and I will work 23 without increasing, just repeating these 2 rows, and then I will show you how to increase for the other half of the body. So this is my first half. You should end up with a solid row, so you will have a half double crochet row as the last one. If you want to adjust the width, And now we will do the first increase. The increase pattern has 4 rows, 1 row with increases and 3 rows without. We will start with chain 2, 1 half double crochet into the first stitch, then chain 1 and make another half double crochet into the same stitch. And then we will continue with our pattern until we will get to the last stitch, and into the last stitch we will do the same increase. Okay, so here in the last stitch you'll have to work half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet. So 1 half double crochet, then chain 1 and another half double crochet. And the next row will be a solid row just in half double crochet stitches, and we won't increase. As I said, the next 3 rows after this increase row will be just in every stitch. Work the stitch pattern in every stitch without increasing. Let's continue this row. We will have, don't forget about that first chain space from the increase and the last one to work your stitches in that one. Okay, so I will finish this row. And then the next one will be the mesh stitch row, again without increasing, and then repeat one more time the solid row. And after completing 4 rows, and when you are on the next mesh stitch row, we will do another increase. And this 4 rows pattern has to be repeated until you complete the width of your trunk. I had in total 47 rows, or 23 without increasing and 24 with increasing. Okay, so now I will work the last row of my increased pattern, which is a solid row. So just half double crochet into each stitch. And now, starting with the next row, we will start increasing again and repeat this set of 4 rows until we complete our width. I will repeat again. I had in total 47 rows for the body of the sweater. Okay, so this is the piece. As you can see, the corner is getting a bit longer, and now we will work 2 more rows just to add an edge on the and to finish our piece. These 2 rows will be the first row in single crochet, and we will work another row in twisted single crochet. And with these 2 rows we are finishing our first piece, and of course you will have to repeat the pattern for the second one. Okay, now the last row, we just twisted single crochet. We will start with a single crochet into the first stitch, And then starting with the second stitch, we are just twisting the hook and then finishing the single crochet. This will add a nice edge to our pieces, but of course that you can finish this with another stitch pattern if you want. And when you are finishing, just single crochet into the last stitch. And now we will cut the yarn, and let's work another piece, and then we will see how to assemble this. After having both pieces, before assembling, the first step is to just stitch the edges, so from the sleeves cuff up to the bottom. So this portion over here has to be stitched together, same as on the second piece. And then we will place the both pieces together and complete and finishing the top. So this is how both pieces are looking after stitching the sleeves and to the bottom, the sides. And this is how we have to place them to assemble the top. So one piece is getting inside of the other one. Use stitch marker to just place them the corners. The corners has to be next to the side seam, and you will have two corners on the outside and two corners on the inside. And now we will start to stitch together both pieces. Well, we will single crochet just to join the pieces together. If you want and you find it easier this way, you can use safety pins to just from place to place to just make sure that your pieces are staying together and to be easier to just join them. I will start on a side and I will connect the yarn again. Make sure that you are getting through both pieces. And we will do a single crochet row, and because we are working into the perpendicular on the rows or into the side rows, I just made one single crochet in one side row and one single crochet between rows, or two single crochet into each side row. This is not really important how you do it. You have to pay attention to your tension, to your way of working. If you want, you can use a smaller hook for this, just in case. If you think that your stitches will look better, you just have to pay attention and to make sure that your single crochet stitches are have the regular distance, like it's working in stitches and not in the side row. But just as I said, I just work them into the two single crochet into each side row. And we will have to continue like this until we will get to the other side, making sure that on the other side we are getting the corners and place them together. And we will have to do all around the single crochet stitches just to join the both pieces together. And make sure that you have this is why I was telling that it's better to place safety pins from place to place, just to make sure that your stitches are your pieces are laying down together and you're not ending up, I don't know, with more stitches from one side and less from the other. So now I am into the other side, and make sure with the corner that you are getting that one too. And we will just work like this to complete the round. we will continue like so until both pieces are joined together, and we can continue with the other part. So now that I finished one round, I will work one more round in single crochet. This time will be easier, one single crochet into each single crochet stitch. Both pieces are joined together, so this round will be easier to make. Again, if you want, I have a tip with the elastic band that I will show you a bit later on. But on this row, if you want, and if you want to get a closer fit to your waist, you can just use this row to just decrease a few stitches and get this waist smaller. Now for the dress, because I'm having the elastic band here, because for the dress the next row will be with attaching the elastic band, and I will show you how to work the elastic band into the next row. For the sweater we are not using this on this step, so if you are making the sweater version, just skip this row. I'm just showing you for the dress. So after the joining row and another single crochet row, you can attach this elastic band, and the elastic band has to be smaller than your waist because it's elastic and it will stretch. I think it was with about 3-4 centimeters smaller than my waist, and you'll have to keep the elastic band behind, and you will get with the hook into the next stitch under the elastic band, bring and pull out the loop into the front, and then yarn over and finish the single crochet. So basically we are working the stitches over the elastic band, and this is how we are having the dress, the waist line of our dress smaller. Now I will explain you a bit about the dress. So this is the round where I added the elastic band. Then I worked 2 more rows in single crochet, and then I started with the skirt pattern, which was 3 rounds in half double crochet and 3 rounds in this mesh stitch. You can continue just with half double crochet if you don't want to have holes in your skirt, and just keep working in rounds until you will get to the desired length of your dress. I just finished and also with a twisted single crochet row, and I don't remember exactly how many rows did I have, but yeah, you can get there until and continue working in rounds until you'll have the desired length. Now let's go back to the sweater because we need to add the ribbing band, and it will be the same pattern as for the cuff, and I will use the smaller crochet hook this time because I had the thinner yarn, so why not, just to have and this one is E, I think, or 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and I just chain 11, but you can chain as many stitches as you wish depending on how wide you want your bottom ribbing to be. And then after chaining the number of stitches, we will just single crochet into each stitch until we will get to the bottom of the sweater. So I will have in total 10 single crochet because I chained 11. And at the end of the row, to connect this row with the sweater, we will just slip stitch into the next stitch. But let's just finish the single crochet. So now slip stitch into the next one, and for the next row, to just high up the row, just slip stitch into the next stitch. So basically at the end of one row you will just have to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches of the bottom, and then turn and continue with single crochet into the back loop only. The last stitch of your ribbing will be worked through both stitches. Remember from the cuff that I told you that I prefer to work into the both loops, the last stitch, just to have a nicer, neater edge on my ribbing. And you will have to repeat and keep going with your rows until you complete the entire bottom of the sweater. Again, if you want, and if you didn't decrease until now but you like to do it, you can do it with the ribbing as well by slip stitch. For the first slip stitch you just have to insert the hook through 2 loops and finish the slip stitch just to make a decrease. Okay, so this is our ribbing, and this is how the sweater was looking in my photos. I will add an elastic band later on, but now just to make sure that our shoulders will stay in place and we won't the sweater won't fall, we will just add a strap in the back of our sweater. So I just counted 6 windows from the shoulder, and we will reconnect the yarn here. I'm using the same 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, but it doesn't matter, you can use the bigger one. And now into the edge of our sweater of this side we will just single crochet. I think I did 3 single crochet, yes, and now chain 1 and turn, and we will work in total 10 rows, and then we will connect the strap with the other side. This will help us the sweater not to fall and to stay nice and on our shoulders. If you want to measure this, you can just try on the sweater, and I know that it's difficult to measure it on the back, but you can measure it also on the front. So just place the pieces in the way that you will want to stay, and then measure the distance between both pieces that you will want to be. After finishing 10 rows on this strap, we will just connect it with the other side. I'm using also single crochet stitches, but of course that you can use sorry, I'm running out of battery, that's why it was this noise. I didn't know about it. I'm just hoping that I will finish with the tutorial. So we are just connecting both pieces together. So I'm just connecting the strap with the other side with single crochet stitches, but you can use a needle and just join them. And now just cut the yarn, and the sweater is basically done. You just have to weave in your ends and it's finished. Now the tip that I want to show you with the elastic band, if you want to get the a closer fit to your waist, you can just add an elastic band as the same as I showed you for the dress, working 1 row. After finishing the ribbing, working 1 row over an elastic band. so you can do that if you want. I'll just connect the yarn into one side, going with the hook under the elastic band. Making a chain over and then single crochet over the elastic band as I showed you for the length for the dress as well. So basically this was the last step of our sweater. This is optional if you want to do it. It will help you to have a closer waist fit on your sweater, and is nice to have. So this was it with our tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. And I'm really happy that you are watching this and you are about to make the sweater. So bye bye.